What's going on, everybody? I'm going to be talking about the entire Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza franchise that was only exclusive to the PlayStation. The 2 games was on a PlayStation 2 while the rest was on a PlayStation 3. This would make me grew a huge strong liking not just to Japanese culture but the entire Asian culture in general. I played all these games from November 2012 to January 2013. I think, in my point of view, in my opinion, I think this is the best beat 'em up action games that Sega has ever offered. I give Sega credit for doing an extra good job on the Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza franchise. But if you really are into Japanese culture, which was getting poor sales in America and smash hits in Japan, give it a go. Check it out for yourself, but you gotta start from the first and the second before playing the third, the fourth, the fifth, and a couple of spin-offs. Cause since the 2 spin-offs, well, that being Ryu Ga Goto Kenzan and Ryu Ga Goto of the End, dubbed as Yakuza Dead Souls, are the spin-offs, which, well, Dead Souls took place after the events of Yakuza 4, which I'm going to be getting to that in a little bit, so let's get on with the review. Start off with Ryu Ga Goto 1 / Yakuza 1 and Ryu Ga Goto 2 / Yakuza 2 with the HD edition, which will be dubbed as HD Collection whenever Sega announces it for the United States release. What I think of these 2 games, well, the first being released in Japan December of 2005, came to America September 2006, while the second was released December 2006 after the first American counterpart less than 3 months later, and then came to September 2008 in America. With Ryu Ga Goto 1 / Yakuza 1 takes place in the Tokyo red light district of Kabikiko, which they recreated and fictionalized as Kamurocho, where they got the famous hostess clubs, restaurants, nightclubs, shopping centers. You can go to convenience stores. Some people say that it's like Grand Theft Auto. Well, it's really not, since you can roam the street. You can't really steal cars or nothing like that because it's a very small, busy street. Well, you can barely see any cars driving on. I'm not going to go into any type of plot, storyline, or detail about this game because none of you have never played the franchise. The protagonist himself is Kazuma Kiryu. The way to describe him as being calm, quiet, and a strong personality with honor. Whoever tries to mess with him, he will lay you down flat. When I was first playing these 2 games, I kind of had a problem when they didn't have any type of English settings or subtitles, since it's a Japanese imported game, which it only has Japanese writing and subtitles. But after a while, I got used to it. And despite of having Japanese subtitles, which I couldn't understand what they were saying, I just rolled with it. And the only thing I was focusing on the action. I just played this game and bought this game is to get the experience and get a lot of ideas. Even my brother Antoine watched me play it every night. He'd just sit right, well, not sit, stand right over me and watch the storylines of what's going on and what's happening. This game is somewhat of an RPG, but it's not like Final Fantasy games when an enemy runs up to you and picks a fight with you. And one thing that amazes me and brings a huge surprisingly of a liking to this game is when people, when they form a circle and watch the battle and they cheer on. I don't know if that exists in real life if you go to Japan or whatever, but I think it would be really, really awesome. And the one favorite thing I like in this game, schoolgirls. I'ma put the link down below. You can go to Club Sega Arcade whenever you want to play mini games. The weapons in the game: golf clubs, baseball bats, knives, swords, lead pipes, trash cans, signs, neon signs, picking up handguns, shotguns, whatever. You defeat an enemy, but you can only use it for a time, and after you run out of ammo, you drop it. It also have heat attacks as your special, but I'm not going to tell you what type of heat moves that Kazuma got. I also forgot to mention that Ryu Ga Goto 1 / Yakuza 1 was the only game to have English dub, while the rest of the Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza franchise have Japanese voice acting with English subtitles. The second game, Ryu Ga Goto 2 / Yakuza 2, the setting still takes place in Kamurocho / Kabikiko in real life, and the other half takes place in Osaka City, which is the fun part that you'll like. The second game, it still has the same stuff from the first game, and this time you have tag team heat action. Also, Ryu Ga Goto 2 / Yakuza 2 was the final Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza game to be released on the PlayStation 2. Ryu Ga Goto 3 / Yakuza 3 was released February of 2009 in Japan, came to America March of 2010. A little background story on this. Sega had no plans of releasing this in the US, but the fans had begged and pleaded to them to release it. Sega have gave in and changed their mind and released it in the US, and everybody was happy. This was the first Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza game of the main series to be released on the PlayStation 3. In this game, the graphics and engine gotten more clearer, brighter, and better, more like a half anime and half real life movie. This game now features revelations, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about. Whenever you see a person on the street doing something weird, crazy, or awkward, you want to take out your cell phone and record what that person is doing. After you're done, you have to find the right name to pick, and you can unlock it as your heat action move. The game setting still takes place in Kabikiko / Kamurocho, and the other being in Okinawa. Ryu Ga Goto 4 / Yakuza 4 was released in Japan March of 2010, came to America March of 2011, and this time you can play other characters than Kazuma. The new playable characters being Sean Akiyama, the loan shark, Tiger Sejima, the escaped convict, and a cop, Mayoshi, whatever his first name is, Tayamoya, which they have their own moves and heat actions. This is the first Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza game to play more than one character. Ryu Ga Goto of the End / Yakuza Dead Souls was released in Japan June of 2011, came to America March of 2012. It still have 4 other playable characters you can play as. Sean Akiyama from Ryu Ga Goto 4 / Yakuza 4, Goro Majima, the boss from the Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza series that Kazuma was always fighting, and Ryu Goda, the final boss in Ryu Ga Goto 2 / Yakuza 2. And this is the first Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza shoot 'em up game. This game still takes place in Kabikiko / Kamurocho. Unlike other Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza games, you can only shoot zombies. There is no hand-to-hand combat fighting in the game. Ryu Ga Goto 5 / Yakuza 5 was released in Japan December 2012. Not released in America yet. Playable characters in the game, Sean Akiyama and Tiger Sejima, the characters from Ryu Ga Goto 4 / Yakuza 4, Kazuma Kiryu, the main protagonist of the entire Ryu Ga Goto / Yakuza series, Haruka, which happens to be Kazuma's adoptive daughter, and the newer character Tatsuo, the former baseball player. This game, Sega really upped the ante with everything, even though it still got the same graphics and engines as Yakuza 3, and the 3 characters still got the same moves from the previous game. And as Haruka, she don't fight. She's becoming a teen idol. When she's roaming the streets and counting other dancers, that's what her competition is, dancing with her opponents. Also playing mini games and being on talk shows as well. She's too young. Tatsuo being the new character of the game, the moves he got we never seen, which I'm not going to spoil it for neither of you. And lastly, Ryu Ga Goto Kenzen, that was only released in Japan March of 2008. This is the game that features sword fighting. You can still use fists for fighting, but Kazuma's ancestor does not have the same move as his current counterpart has. This game takes place in the 1600s of the ancient times of Japan, which I'm not going to say anything about. Y'all going to have to experience for yourselves. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that I hope they make a Playoffs Kai Kazuma. Before I end the video, I just want to say I love Asian culture with a passion. I don't only love Japanese, I love Chinese, I love Korean, I love Filipino, I love Indonesian, I love Thai, I love Taiwanese. The entire culture in general. Since I've been collecting a lot of anime posable figures lately, it just made me grew a strong interest into them, as well as Japanese imported games as well that was released in Japan before it was released in America. And I want to put 2 video links down in the description below for you to check it out, and you might grow a huge liking to what these 2 dudes are going to say about they love why being in Japan. This is Lorenzo from FloWould Productions signing out, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace to y'all.